always just so happy to be in a room full of people with incredible taste because this show is so great and it's such an honor to present it. And obviously you guys love it because you're here today. Are you loving season 3? So you guys just got that exclusive first look at the finale, the season finale, so no spoilers for people out there. Super excited to bring these guys out. We had one small change. Alice could not make it today. She got sick this morning, so she's not going to be with us. But we've got a lot to talk about anyway, so let's bring out our panel. We've got creator and showrunner Chris Sheridan. The incredible Sara Tomko. And our favorite scene-stealing sheriff, Reynolds. Classic Mike. Alright, so remember that hashtag Resident Alien, hashtag WC 2024, and hashtag WonderCon for all of your posts and everything out of here. So let's first give them a round of applause. It has been a while. When was the last time you guys got to do a panel? TCAs. TCAs, yes. Yeah, that was for press. You guys got to see the
San Diego
Comic-Con?
Two summers ago.
Yeah, so it's been a bit. And this is, Chris, you have actually been working on this show for almost a decade now, correct?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because you were, at that time, you had been working on Family Guy.
Yep.
How does one go from Family Guy to this?
It's not a straight path. No, I had wanted to creatively get into more dramatic writing, and I had worked on some stuff with Amblin, television. They sent me the comic book in October of 2015 and asked if I would be interested in adapting it. And that was the Resident Alien comic from Peter Hogan and Steve Parkhouse, who did an incredible job. If you haven't read it, you should read it. It's fantastic. And yeah, I fell in love with it and started the process.
That's it. And it's just such a weird jump to go from an animated show that got away with everything.
Yes.
Like, you think that you'd want to get your feet wet on maybe a single camera character study kind of thing, but no, you come into this where you've got effects, you've got comedy, you've got drama, you've got shooting on location.
Yes.
And mostly practical locations, right?
Yeah, half and half.
Yeah, and practical effects for a lot of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, big bite. And then casting Alan.
Yeah.
So I listened to a podcast recently that you were on, talking about the casting of this character, and you saw over 100 people for this role.
Yep.
And Alan was one of a pool of people that came into audition.
Yes.
What was his audition like that convinced you after 100 plus people?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I thought I knew what this character was when I wrote it, and I did not know what it was until he came in. The night before his audition, and we had seen, like you said, over 100 people at this point, David Dobkin, who directed the pilot, and myself got on a Skype with him to talk to him about the role and get him prepared for the audition the next day. And even then, when we hung up that night, we looked at each other and said, "I think this is the guy." And then the next day he came in, and he just did it differently than everybody else. He did it the way you're seeing it, but no one had done it that way, and they were great actors. But his take on it was incredibly funny, and there was so much humanity underneath everything that he was doing. He was funny, but he was real, and he felt like he didn't belong in the body that he was in. And at first I thought, well, maybe this is just Alan Tudyk, he's just a weirdo.
Which is true.
Which is true.
For sure.
But then you get to know him and you just realize, oh no, he's just an unbelievable actor. We were talking about earlier how even before a scene, before we shoot, he's Alan and you're talking to him and then they start rolling camera and then he just becomes someone else and you're looking at him and you can see him change into a different person without doing anything. And I think, and not even moving and doing crazy stuff, literally sitting still, he suddenly looks like a different person just because of his energy. It's really unbelievable. He's fantastic. And the show, wouldn't be what it is without him part of it.
And you had already cast the rest of the ensemble.
He was the last one.
So this guy had to fit in with who you already had in place.
Did he?
True.
You know?
Well, he had to at least match their energy.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We had the advantage. Well, first of all, he was the last person. Everyone had been cast. Sarah was the first person.
That's right.
Alan was the last.
There we go.
Thank you. I see you.
And we were shooting in 2 weeks. The advantage of it was we had everyone else, and Alan actually didn't have to fit in with everyone else. He had to be specifically who he was for this, but we had the advantage that he was someone coming in from outside, so he could, inhabit whatever world he's going to inhabit and still work because he's supposed to be an outsider.
Right. But off camera, he had to get you needed somebody who could play with these people.
Ideally, I mean, the truth is in all these shows that we have something on this show that I don't know any other show that really has, which is a group of actors who not only get along and work well together, but are really, really great friends outside.
Oh,
it's true. And so you hear all these horror stories about actors coming in and they don't get along. There's always someone who's an asshole. And so you don't know, hey, who's it going to be? Which one? Which one is it? And there are.
Judah. You know what I mean?
it's Max.
I hate that kid.
Yeah, Judah's a bit of a handful. And by the time we start shooting again, he'll be about 6'9".
He's like 25 now.
I talked to him on the phone like a month ago, and he's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Who is this?
He's good.
Hello.
You need to abduct him for a season so he can come back as a grown-up.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that, because when we talked at the beginning of the season, and I'm sure you guys have recognized, this season has had much darker themes. It has definitely upped the stakes for all of our people. Do you want to get your comment?
It was already open.
Okay.
So we love each other, and then I give her mine. See? That's how we do it.
You drank out of it already.
Did I have some? This guy put this over here.
So going into the season, you knew that you'd had 2 seasons of building these characters up, giving us this world, making us fall in love with them, and now you're threatening to literally eradicate them all.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yeah. So
Make them fall in love.
when you decided to go this route, there's always been the existential threat, but now I feel like we've never been closer.
Coming into season 3?
Yeah.
The reality is a lot of people, and I've talked about this a lot recently, feel like, oh, Ben and Kate are in danger now because the Greys are coming, and what is it about patience that all the alien activity is there? And the truth is, there's nothing about patience. There's nothing different about patience. The scary thing, and people do believe this, and I believe it as well, that those aliens are everywhere. It's not because Ben and Kate are in patience. It's just because they're human beings on Earth that they're being abducted. Like if Harry never landed in patience to do what he was doing, the story would still be that Ben and Kate are getting abducted by these aliens because it happens. And I think that's what's so scary about it. And I think we'll explore more of that in season 4.
Okay. And how did you land on Ben and Kate as the abductees?
That's another great question.
Thank you.
He's the best.
Because they're killing it.
They're doing great.
Levi and Meredith are so good. The scene. Oh yeah, we
talked about this in the writers' room a lot. We wanted the slow roll of those characters because in the first couple seasons they were the piece that really grounded the show. That over here you have all this alien crazy stuff going on, and then you have Ben and Kate, arguing because they don't know how to talk to each other, which feels like a very small story. But the truth is, it really grounds the whole show down into these characters. And Ben is someone who's afraid all the time. You don't know why. So it was always designed, as we talked about in the writers' room, to do the slow roll of them and sort of roll out then near the end of the second season and do the reveal that, oh, this is why Ben's been afraid this whole time. So you present what feels like just normal people, and then you show that, oh, this is happening to them. And we felt like it would be kind of scarier because you're not seeing it coming.
Right. I know. It's been riveting. And last week's episode, this was something I wanted to ask. How did you come to the decision to let Harry be comforted to her when she made the realization? Because that is not a space I'm used to seeing him in.
It's true. Well, it's a place we had to get him in. We've already seen him in the season hypnotize Ben. And then at the end of the Ben hypnosis say, you're going to forget everything, which makes sense. What we talked about in the writers' room, this move where we had this opportunity to actually have Kate remember everything, which was kind of scary to us. It's like, well, what does that open up? but also was really exciting. But in order for that to happen, we had to get Harry into a place where he would open it up for her. So we had to time the scene after his own heart opening from seeing Bridget again. So the only place that hypnosis could happen is after the scene where he and Bridget reconnect. Because it's that love for Bridget that makes him realize that as horrible as it is to know that your child is up on a spaceship, at least you know you have a child. And he loves Bridget so much that no matter what, he couldn't rob Kate of this knowing that she has a little baby somewhere. So yeah, we just had to put him in that emotional space where he would open it up for her.
And you talk about emotional space. This season has given almost everyone incredible emotional moments.
True.
Like saying goodbye to Jay. And just the scene where we have the rest of our lives. Oh my God. How has that been for you, getting to almost, go through that experience with that actress? Because that is so sweet.
I texted Chris after the episode and I said, I can't stop crying, but not because of how beautiful the car scene was, but more that I just said, retainer, don't forget, Asta's a good mom,
Yeah.
and she's made it, she's grown up, it's been so lovely to take this journey with Jay, with my internal struggle of shame and grief, to finally release it, let it go, and to give her back to her proper mother, but to know that we're going to continue a relationship now. I have no idea what I'm going to have conflict with in season 4, but I'm sure you'll find something.
Do you remember when you texted me when you read episode 9, where the end of it is Harry takes Asta's memory away, and she and Jay have this plan to meet at the diner for Jay's birthday, and Asta totally blows her off, and Jay's just there with a balloon waiting for her.
Yeah.
And
So rude.
after the scripts were sent to the cast, I got this text from Sarah, I hate you.
I was so mad because I thought that was going to be the moment that we got to reunite. I did not know until we read the table read. I waited until we read it together, and then I was so heartbroken.
Yeah.
But it's been great to get to that place. And I was just saying in an interview earlier, Jay is so wonderful to forgive me. So, not all the time, but has eventually forgiven me. And I don't know if I would have done that. Obviously, my mom's different. I don't know if I do that now, but I just feel like that's a really wonderful sentiment about Kayleigh Lorraine, who plays Jay, and the grace and humility with which she plays it too has been really wonderful.
And so on top of that, you also had a scene that I think a lot of us were very uncomfortable with, which was you and Darcy. The fight where they were saying stuff that you say, you can't really take back.
It's really funny. My parents were listening that day.
If you like cartoons, movies, books, music, I demand you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, be prepared. Subscribe or be prepared for doom. Do not resist. Do not resist. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.